Hi, I'm Daphne Richards. Our question this week comes from viewer Jokita Schrimmer about her struggling desert willow tree. She writes that the tree was planted about 3 years ago but has never done well. Last year she cut it down, level to the ground, and although it has since grown quite a bit, it still looks very unhealthy. Well, Jokita, my initial thought is that your desert willow doesn't really look bad at all, so I'm not sure if there are any problems to solve. But since the photo was taken when the tree was dormant and there aren't any leaves to look at, I could be missing the symptoms altogether. In general, desert willow trees do pretty well in our area, but when they don't, it's usually down to soil and drainage issues. Desert willows are not willows at all, and so they aren't riparian species. They're most definitely more at home in arid western regions where the native soil is sandy and even rocky. If you're having an issue with a desert willow, the first thing to check is soil drainage. Desert willows do not like to be waterlogged. If you have clay soil or other permeability issues, you should consider digging up your tree while it's still relatively young and building a berm to increase drainage, then replanting it. Or if it continues to struggle and you can't really increase the soil drainage through changing the topography of your landscape, you might need to replace with a different species of tree. Definitely watch for signs of relief this spring and see how it does before taking any drastic measures. And feel free to get back in touch so that we can see the tree once it's leafed out, especially if it still isn't doing well, and we'll see if we can find other remedies. Our plant this week is Salvia pensteminoides, commonly known as big red sage. This great Central Texas native plant gets its species name from the fact that it looks a lot like a penstemon. It has a large mounding habit that isn't common among the salvias, with larger, glossy, deep green leaves as well. Big red sage produces towering, deep pinkish red flower stalks from late spring through summer. Said to be deer-resistant, Salvia pensteminoides is hardy to zone 6, making it a perennial in Central Texas gardens. As they do with most plants with similar spiky floral displays, hummingbirds flock to this plant when in flower. Full sun is best, with perhaps a little protection from the harsh rays of the late afternoon sun, and be very careful not to overwater big red sage, especially if you have clay in your soil, or it could rot. Consider amending the soil with a bit of porous material such as decomposed granite, but don't overdo it. Big red sage doesn't like to be completely dry either. Adding a little organic matter such as compost would help keep the soil porous and moist at the same time, an ideal balance for this striking plant. Big red sage gets to about 2 feet tall and half as wide in most gardens, and as with other perennials, will need to be sheared back in late winter to reinvigorate them and encourage new growth. We have several great viewer photos this week of spring trees blooming very early. We received this gorgeous blooming dogwood photo from April Rose and another beautiful picture from Joe Wagner of the always stunning floral display of our amazing native mountain laurels. From Heather Jeffs, a great shot of red admiral butterflies and bees on Mexican plum, and even a cute little Christmas cactus from Stephen Heineke. We'd love to hear from you, so please visit us at klru.org/ctg to send us your questions, pictures, and videos.